gonna have to click too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does the
It's
League
in
of
Anaheim,
Cities
I
run that?
What?
Does the League of Cities run that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
League of California Cities.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nice.
It's good. It's a lot of fun and it.
It's in Anaheim?
the next one's in Anaheim.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's easy.
We went to Santa Rosa.
That's cool. Love Santa Rosa. Love Petaluma.
Yeah, except for,
The fires.
no, I mean, I was thinking, oh, this is like Humboldt. It's, you know.
You're almost there. Yeah.
Almo-
Yeah, you're like, oh man.
Ugh,
Just 5
just-
more hours north.
Yeah.
Yeah. People don't understand that. They're like, where'd you go to school? And I was like, that's 6 hours north of San Francisco. And they're like, oh, in Oregon? And I'm like, no.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
People have
I
the
don't consider
craziest.
I don't consider like San Francisco and Northern California.
No, I
It's
know.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah. But only like
You're
we know
agreed.
that. And it's just like, no, classic, no, you're central.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We're ready whenever.
Good evening. I'd like to call the May 6, 2025 regular Planning Commission meeting to order. Please note this meeting is being hosted through live stream on the city website and by teleconference via Zoom. I would like to remind the planning commissioners to have their microphones turned on in position so the audience can hear. Director Monique, may we have roll call, please?
Commissioner Worth,
Here.
Commissioner Viramontes,
Here.
Commissioner Clark,
Present.
Commissioner Hill,
Here.
Chair Beamsterfer,
Here. Commissioner Viramontes, may we have invocation and flag salute, please?
Alrighty. Dear Lord, we thank you for the opportunity to gather and serve our community. Grant us wisdom, clarity, and cooperation as we discuss and make decisions that shape the future of our town. Help us to consider the needs of all and act with integrity, fairness. May our efforts today lead to a thoughtful growth and lasting benefit to all of our residents. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, agenda item 11A is Planning Commissioner's reorganization appointment of chair. Does the commission have any nominations for appointment of chair?
Yes. I'd like to nominate Jacob Beamsdorfer as chair.
And I second that.
Oh, you beat me to it.
May we have motion, please? Oh, we have a motion, maybe have roll call.
Commissioners, please announce your vote. Commissioner Worth,
Aye.
Commissioner Viramontes,
Aye.
Commissioner Clark,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Chair Beamsterfer,
Yes.
and that motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. 11B, it's Planning Commissioner reorganization, appointment of vice chair. Does anybody have, does the commission have an appointment nomination?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Connie Clark as vice chair.
I second.
All right, may we have roll call, please?
Commissioner Worth,
Aye.
Commissioner Viramontes,
Yes.
Commissioner Clark,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Chair Beamsterfer.
That's a yes to Vice Chair Connie Clark.
And that motion carries 5-0.
Okay. Do we need to reorganize? And it'll take all about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you're saying.
Okay.
Here's your water.
Thank you. You did want it.
Okay. Agenda item 15A is a conditional use permit modification 25-002. Assistant Planner Jordan Walton.
Oh, there's a.
Did I miss a minute? We are going to back up. I'm sorry, Jordan. 14A is the approval minutes of the meeting from April 15th, 2025. Does the commission have any comments or corrections?
I'm sorry, Commissioner, Chair,
Yes, sir.
public comment period?
I just skipped this whole page, didn't I? Well, we did the recess. There we go. All right. All right, now we're going to move on to public comment period for items not on the agenda. Are there any members of the public present that would like to comment on the item not on the agenda?
Chair Beamsterfer, I do have 3 requests to speak forms, but they are on an item on an agenda. And I do not show any member of the public online requesting to speak, and I did not receive any e-comments.
Okay, so you have nothing that's not on the agenda. Okay.
No public comment.
All right, with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to agenda item 14A, which is the approval of the minutes from the meeting of April 15, 2025. Does the commission have any comments or corrections?
No comments or corrections. I would make a motion to approve the minutes of the Planning Commission meeting of April 15, 2025.
I second it.
Commissioners, please announce your vote. Commissioner Worth,
Abstain?
Commissioner Viramontes,
Yes.
Commissioner Hill,
Yes.
Vice Chair Clark,
Yes.
Chair Beamsterfer,
Yes.
and that motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. Agenda item 15A is the conditional use permit modification 25-002. Assistant Planner Jordan Walton.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the Planning Commission. Jordan Walton, Assistant Planner with the Community Development Department of the City of Hemet. Tonight for your consideration is the Conditional Use Permit Modification 25-002. This is a modification to a previously approved project, CUP 21-007. The applicant and property owner for this project is Seder Hemet LLC. And this property is located at the northeast corner lot of Saboba Street and Florida Avenue. The original request was for conditional use permit. The original approval was for a conditional use permit, site development review, public convenience or necessity, tentative parcel map for a gas station, car wash, and 2 restaurants with drive-throughs. The request before you is for a modification to the conditional use permit to reconfigure the layout of the Arco AM/PM gasoline service station and the 3,800 square foot food market. This request was made due to South Coast Air Quality Management District establishing specific requirements for the placement and design of a few canopies to ensure compliance with regional air quality standards. This request is made especially when it's located near sensitive receptors, and in this case, a sensitive receptor would be the Image Schools Hemet, which is located across Florida Avenue in the unincorporated area of Riverside County. Pursuant to Section 90-42.9, only the approving authority shall approve modifications or revisions to the approved applications, and only after the hearing is requested in this chapter. So in this case, conditional use permit, site development review, public needs necessity, and tentative parcel map were all approved by the Planning Commission on January 18th, 2022. So in this case, the modification would have to go before you again for approval. And this aligns with Goal 1, quality of life, and Goal 2, economic opportunity. This is an aerial map of the project location. It is at the northeast corner of Florida Avenue and Silvoa Street. The property is zoned C2 general commercial, and the property is designated community commercial in the City of Hemet general plan. So before you is the previously approved modification that was approved with CUP 21-007. If you see it here, the convenience store was originally configured at the As you can see, the original approval was for the 3,800 square foot convenience store to be configured north of the canopy, and the canopy was south near Florida Avenue. With the new modification, the canopy will be configured at north of the convenience store, while the convenience store is at the southerly portion, which is abuts Florida Avenue at the corner of Florida and Silvoa Street. And here's a side-by-side comparison. So a previously adopted categorical exemption was adopted in accordance with California Environmental Quality Act (CEQA) guidelines under Section 15332, infill development project. And it is respectfully recommended that the Planning Commission adopt Planning Commission resolution approving conditional use permit modification 25-002, subject to the conditions of approval and development plans outlined in the staff report. And I'm available to take any questions if you have any.
Thank you for that presentation, Mr. Walden. Does the commission have any questions for staff? Start with Mr. Worth, Commissioner Worth.
Thank you for that. Just question is, so the South Coast Air Quality Management Division is the driver for this change, and is because of a sensitive receptor. Is that change tied to the location of the fuel pumps, or the size of the canopy, or both?
So yeah, so when this project was originally approved and going through the plan check process, it was discovered through the plan check process that the applicant submitted to the regional air quality management that based off the location of the fuel canopies, that a relocation would be required. And I do have the applicant here as well to speak more on that, to go into detail as far as why that requirement was necessitated by them.
So, but it's the proximity of the fuel
It's
station.
the proximity to the fuel canopies to the sensitive receptor.
And then the
Yes.
size reduction is just because of relocating it to the north side of the parcel. It had to be smaller.
That is correct. So
Gotcha.
there was the fuel canopy did reduce in size about 300 square feet in size from the original proposal, but that reduction had nothing to do with the location of the fuel canopy. It was just to reconfigure it best for the shape of the parcel.
Okay, thank you. I'm good, thank you.
Commissioner Viramontes, any questions? No? Commissioner Hill?
Yeah, thank you. Jordan, thank you for that presentation. And I must apologize to you and Monique for not getting my questions to you prior to this meeting, but I only have 2 questions for you. I noticed there's some new public work conditions being levied on this at this time. And there was a really strange one in there that I just have a curious question about. And it's number 124. It's on page 18. And it's Stevens Kangaroo Rat Fee. What is this? I've never heard of this before.
Yeah, so I do have Jolene here coincidentally, I don't believe she's here for the project or not, but there was a conversation about the city requiring the payment of a kangaroo rat fee in requirements with I believe a county regulation that requires the city to collect the fee, and for things for grading and new construction, those fees are to be collected, and at a certain time, those fees will be distributed to the appropriate body.
So that goes to the county.
It goes to the county or any agency that it's appropriate, but I believe it's a agency in the county.
Okay, appreciate that. And then my second question is, I know that there's quite a bit of those new public work conditions, and I wanted to know if the applicant is good with all these additional public work conditions. Okay, though they're nodding their head yes. And that's all the questions I have for you, Jordan. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Vice Chair
Yes,
Clark?
I sure do. First of all, are there any sensitive receptors, or are any of the residential homes that are now closer to the pump stations, should they be considered also, since it's residential?
Yeah, so it was identified that the school, the proximity to the school would be the only sensitive receptor identified for this project.
Okay. So actually the Stevens kangaroo rat fee is with the Riverside County Habitat Conservation Agency, and it's actually taking away their locations that they can live. So is it 1,950 per acre? Is that, what is it that, it's 500 per acre, okay. How long is the roost period? Is it 15, 20? What are we, how long are we supposed to, do we know?
No, I don't know that question off the top of my head.
Because that's the special tax that's in addition to tax their tax base. And it's for the lighting and landscape. And so as I'm reading, it's some are 15, 20. I would like to know, you know, how long are we doing this? The master drainage plan, can you tell me, it says for facilities greater than 36 inches in diameter and facilities included on the RCFC and the WCD master drainage plan. So I looked that up. Is that per se what you're talking about? Is that going to go in place of what they had before?
Do you know what condition number that is?
I sure do. 129.
So what do you mean go in place of?
Say that again.
I'm not understanding the question. You mean
Okay,
go in
well,
place of?
So the master drainage plan is a Riverside County.
Mhm.
And so the city of Hemet has, we must apply, or it must apply to our program here?
So it's the Hemet, or it's a master drainage plan for the city of Hemet that was created and then we adopted an ordinance approving that. So then part of our drainage policy is that any project that it comes in that is adjacent to or near or needs to be flood protected by
Right.
a master drainage plan facility has to construct that. And then typically those are then turned over to Riverside County Flood Control for ownership and
Okay.
maintenance.
Okay, that was actually, so 132, I'm assuming is protecting the surrounding parcels from off-site drainage coming on to their property?
Yes, and it's so that, if a project was to come in and there's drainage coming onto their site, they don't just block it and reroute it
Yeah.
another way. They accept it and perpetuate
And
it in natural drainage patterns, yeah.
And I'm just curious, how come these weren't here a while ago?
I wasn't here a while ago. so
Yeah, yeah, I mean.
I don't know.
It has to be
Mhm.
that way.
Mhm.
But I think, yeah. Yeah, it's here now.
Yeah.
So that's my thoughts. Thank you.
Just a couple of them. I'm just looking at, it doesn't have to necessarily do with the gas station part of it, but in our last meeting, they agreed to put in a wing wall at the exit of the car wash to help reduce some of the noise for the residents behind. And I don't think I saw the wing wall, and
Yeah, so
I tried
it
to
would
zoom
be,
in and look around, but
yeah, so it would be condition 148, that's outlined in the staff report on page 22, where it says a 15 by 15 wing wall shall be installed at the exit side of the car wash tunnel. The ring wall shall be constructed as a part of the car wash tunnel, which shall architecturally comply with the proposed building.
I just want to make sure, because I kept looking at the layout and I really didn't see that drawn in. And just for clarity, I know in the last meeting in front of the gas station, we asked that they post no loitering signs. They're going to still go ahead and post those to keep the transients from not hanging out around the property?
Yes, and the applicant can clarify that, and that can be added as a condition of approval as well.
And then one other question, how many feet from the gas pump to the car wash? In my mind, I'm thinking fumes, but I know I'm sure engineering has gone through this, but I know gas is low, it's heavier than air, it can travel up to 12, 15 feet from where the gas comes from. How many, is it 61 feet from the pumps to the car wash, or am I reading that wrong?
Do you know if that says that in the conditions?
It was in, when I zoomed in. I think right there. I think that might be 61 feet. I just want clarity on that, because I just, we got a lot of cars idling, and, we don't want anything to spark. And I know engineering,
Yes.
I'm not an
So-
engineer.
Yeah, so the project was, the project and the site plan were resubmitted to building, fire, and engineering for review. We held 2 DRC meetings for this project, Development Review Committee meetings, and the project and the layout was found to be consistent with our municipal code and zoning ordinance. So I would say it would comply.
Okay. And next, my other question would be for the applicant about the fast food, if there's anybody coming, so. Any other questions for staff, commissioners?
No, Chair.
No? Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
And with that, we're going to go and open up public hearing and ask the applicant to approach the podium, please. And does the commission have any questions for the applicant?
Just to get it on record, you were nodding your head earlier, but you're okay with all of the conditions as outlined in the staff report?
Yes, sir. We reviewed all the previous ones and the ones that were added recently
Okay.
as part of the re-review of the project. Yes,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Nothing further.
No questions.
Any possible fast food?
I'm sorry?
Any possible fast food restaurant coming into two proposed
Not yet,
lots?
because we got delayed because of the Southwest quality, requirements that we had to. So we didn't want to sign up anybody and then have to, wait. So right now, there are some potentials. My apologies, I can't, because we haven't signed anything, so I can't promise anything. But there's some good prospects.
I know Commissioner Hill was excited about Steak and
Gals
Shake.
Jr.
Oh, and Miguel Jr. too.
We'll do our best.
In-N-Out would be a great place too.
Oh,
but,
absolutely. I will be coming this way.
No other questions?
No.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I'll be here.
And with that, any members of the public present that would like to comment on this agenda?
Yes, Chair Beamsterfer, I did receive 3 requests to speak forms, and I'll call the first person, Alicia Herder. I'm so sorry if I butchered your last name.
If you can approach the podium and give you a 3-minute public time period.
Yeah, my name's Alicia Herderick. It's okay. It's a tough one. I just have some concerns because I live on the street behind it. And so I haven't been to any other meetings and I haven't seen the maps like you guys have. I'm concerned about this gap between the houses getting closed so that cars can't use our street as like a getaway. And then the intersection of Saboba and Florida 3 spots of the intersection have turn lanes, but from the north side of Saboba onto Florida, there's no turn lane. And so the traffic can be crazy, and adding all this stuff in is gonna make it worse. And so I don't know if this is the right format to say a turn lane there would be great and protected light for both sides, because there's not, even though the south side has a turn lane, there's not a protected light. And especially with the Imagine Charter School there, it can get pretty dangerous sometimes and not safe. So anyway, that's my comment.
Well, thank you very much.
Jeremiah Herderick, I'm going to try to say it again.
Hello, all. So I'm Alicia's husband. We have 5 children that currently live in our house. We have about 20 kids that currently live on our street, and so there is a concern with regards to now, apparently the air pollution, instead of it being out towards the street, it's being pushed towards our house instead. The fact that we are going to be having fast food restaurants as well, there will be idle vehicles that'll be there waiting to partake of the food that will be distributed at those fast food restaurants. That's a concern that we have. Our kids we try to, I guess, raise them as 60s or 80s kids where they're allowed to play in the streets and have some fun because it's public domain and it's allowed to be able to do it. But a concern that we have is the ongoing traffic that might be created. The other thing is that with regards to having fast food restaurants there, is where's the access for the actual semi-trucks that will be distributing the food that is going to be coming in to those particular facilities or those businesses? Are we going to be seeing an uptick in that in our street as well? There's no exact projection of that, but that's why we've asked for, as my wife had mentioned, there's a gap in between 2 of the residencies, and we want to make sure that that is actually enclosed with not just a wooden or a chain link fence, but actually something of the form of like a cinder block in order to deter an individual from trying to go through there, because that goes straight into somebody else's house right across the street. And I've seen that. I work with public safety in other cities, and it's kind of crazy what people can do with vehicles. And all it takes is one person to be distracted, whether it's the semi-truck driver dropping product off or somebody getting upset inside that business location, to cause serious harm to the residents that are behind those facilities. So I want you to please consider that for us. The noise pollution, we're going to be now having the vehicles coming towards our side. We were already promised this noise barrier. That noise barrier is only going to be on one specific section of the actual property from what we've been told. It's not being built around the entire region, so that's going to be affecting the noise pollution going throughout everything. Maybe not just in one section, but throughout the rest of the area. It kind of seems like it's being short-sighted with regards to planning if you're only putting it in the most concentrated area, but not throughout the rest of it where we will have that noise pollution. And then also because the light fixtures are going to be, or the canopies on the other side now facing towards us, we're going to have light pollution going on, and we have kids that we need to put to bed. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Arvita Anderson.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak. As before with previous planning commissions meetings, I've expressed my reservations on this project from start to finish, and I'm opposed to this project from basis. And you heard me last time when I spoke, and how this was brought about in the previous planning commission that shoehorned this project through with little or no regard for those that live in the surrounding community. I do have a problem with moving the gas stations back towards us. Now, if this is a problem for a
school across the street. What are we talking about? Are we talking about vehicle emissions, or are we talking about benzene? What are we talking about? If this is a problem for the school, then it's equally a problem for the residents on Merlin Street. I don't feel that gas stations and high traffic businesses are compatible with these with development, close to developments. We've been there 40 years in this house, and I tell you, from the beginning, we had no expectations, or no anticipations in '85 that we would be seeing a high density, high revenue type of business coming in across the street from us, and this is an issue. I realize the camel's nose is already underneath the tent on this one. We aren't going to change, but I really think that you really ought to consider if this is a problem for school children, it's a problem for the children that live on and the rest of us that live adjacent to this facility. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other members present that would like to make a comment?
I do not show anyone online requesting to speak, and I did not receive any e-comments.
Okay. With that, we're going to go ahead
Hey.
and close the public hearing
Chair,
and discussion.
before you did, okay.
We're going to reopen.
Chair, I just wonder, is it okay if we have the applicant come up and talk about this, these issues? Would they be willing to do that?
Yes, absolutely.
If you don't mind. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'll start with the easy ones. As part of the conditions of the project, we are required to build a block wall all the way around the property. That section that the gentleman was talking about as far as the opening, it's not going to be a wood fence, it's going to be a block completely, and the staff had already...
Can you make sure your mic is on?
I'm sorry, okay.
Yeah,
Can you
there
hear
you
me? Oh, sorry. Okay. I'll repeat again. The entire site, east, northeast, and north is going to be completely blocked off with a block wall. And in addition to that, as we discussed at the last planning commission, we are building that screen wall, the wall 15 feet beyond the exit of the car wash. So that blocks off completely the access issues the gentleman had a concern with as far as people cutting across to the backside of the the residential section. In regards to the studies for South Coast air quality, yes, the school is the most sensitive, then also residential. We have to meet both residential and the school. We can't meet all the school and not residential. They have a certain criteria for residential, which we already meet. We have already met, and the school, that's the reason they wanted us to modify it so that we can meet the school again, they'll review this again. South Coast Air Quality does review again, and they won't release a permit till we meet, or they confirm that we meet the requirements. So it's not, they're not adding emission toward the houses, not caring about the houses. We do care about the houses, they're our customers, and so we have to meet that requirement. It's not just because we moved it over, we're not concerned about the residences. They review it. That's the reason they have the emission study that they do. As far as the trucks coming here, most of these are, the deliveries are once a day. They're not, I don't anticipate that much of a delivery for the fast food areas. It's going to be once a day. And we have, areas for parking and delivery that we have assigned by city staff request. So there is areas where they park and they will drop off the material and they leave. As far as, we're doing...
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
The area that they're going to park is within the land use that you have?
Yes, sir.
It's
Yes,
not
sir.
on the street?
No. It's
Okay.
on the site.
Okay.
Yeah, city staff has already, we've worked with them as far as, the areas where for deliveries.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely, yeah. There's, we're doing tremendous amount of off-site improvements, as far as the sidewalk, curb and gutter and all that. So I'm not sure if, there are some conditions in here that we have to meet as far as the off-site improvements. So hopefully that addresses the item that the first speaker had. Other than that, again, we're just, the only reason we haven't started this project is because we just wanted to meet the requirements for South Coast Air Quality. And that came up afterward because, if I'm not mistaken, you guys could correct me, the school wasn't there at the time when we built, when we got the approval. once we submitted the application, the school opened up, and then boom, AQMD. Because otherwise, we would have built this by now. So therefore, that's why we switched it back to accommodate both school and the residents. So, hope I answered some of your questions.
I have a question.
Sure, sure.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
It required a public hearing, am I correct, to the way that proposal was?
Uh-huh.
And then it got flipped.
Yes.
So no one's getting a say on it other than the school across the street, the flip.
Well-
Because I just asked
Sure.
a few minutes ago about the sensitive receptive. Obviously, there are homes there, and I
Sure.
would expect kids.
Sure.
So,
The residents is South Escrow, just to let you know, South Coast Air Quality, in their, criteria, they have a certain level for residential properties.
I understand.
Okay.
I understand that,
Okay.
but that's not how the project got presented with the original public hearing for this. And so now we're flip-flopping the plan, and I just want to know, what are the thoughts of the residents there? Were they notified because of that? I mean, that's a big deal to move gas pumps to the back of, and right next to residential. That's why I asked about the sensitive receptors
Right.
there.
Well, just to let you know, the gap between the canopy, not even the pumps are further in. From the canopy to the property line of the residence is in excess of 120 feet.
Well, it was a whole lot more the other way.
Understand, but at that time, the school was not in existence.
Well, I get it, but that's
Sure,
my whole point.
Sure, I understand. But again, even with moving, just to let you know, I mean,
Uh-huh.
the way AQMD looks at it, we don't have any control as to, oh, hey, move it over here, we can do that.
No, I understand
They
that,
set the
totally.
rules. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that we moved it closer doesn't increase, the rate of, the emissions. It's 120 feet away from those. It used to be 150 feet. So the number doesn't go up. It's still below the level that they require us to meet, and that's where we meet that requirement. I mean, if we were right up to the where the car wash is, then we wouldn't be able to meet that. But we're already meeting that requirements.
Well, and I understand,
And we
but
are way
that's
below
the
it.
public hearing
Sure.
requirement that I'm
It-
asking about.
Oh,
Is that, city attorney, a public hearing requirement, even though it was already approved, they had to just revise the CUP? Does that require a public?
Well, this is a modification of the original CUP, so this is why we're hearing the matter
Correct.
on the actual modification itself.
So this is the public hearing.
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
So, yeah,
Was everybody notified?
yes.
the 500 feet.
Within
500
500
feet.
feet, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I hate to see something slip in.
And we didn't receive any public comments from that 500 feet?
That's you?
I did not receive any electronic comments for tonight.
Okay. I think we're having a public hearing, so we'll get you up in just a minute. Any other questions for the applicant before we allow?
No, sir, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. You can reapproach the podium if you like.
This is the notification, okay, sorry. This is the notification that we received. As you can see, there's no indication about anything changing on the site. All it says is that there's going to be a modification. Doesn't tell us anything with regards to the existing plans. In 2022, we did receive notification with the actual outline of what was going to be built at that time, in which then we expressed, in which thankfully the gentleman back here, they expressed to us all of the things that were going to happen. I kind of find it ironic that the Air Commission allows them to turn it around because the school is farther away from the gas station, but the residency is closer to the gas station. That's the thing that is kind of confusing, because if that was the case and we actually were told or informed about the design, then we would have showed up in force, because this is a concern amongst some of the younger folks that are here that live on that street. And so the fact that all we were notified, I have a plan that I have to be up in Arizona tonight. I have to be in Bullhead, Arizona, Bullhead City, Arizona. But I made sure to come here because I thought they were just doing a simple modification to the gas station itself, not actually adjusting it and putting our family potentially in harm's way. And I get it. As of right now, the way the commission is created, it's saying that it's not going to affect our family. That's fine. But are we sure? I know that there's uncertainty in all things. And I don't mind having another Carl's Jr., even though it's a half a mile away from another Carl's Jr. I would prefer Steak and Shake personally. Dana, I honestly, Steak and Shake would be so much better. But the thing for me personally is that gas station now, and the fact that it's going to be affecting my family and those that are in my neighborhood. So thank you so much for your time again.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and have you approach the podium one more time.
I don't know if you can clarify this for me, but there seems to be a hierarchy being developed here on who's more important. You know, I advocated and supported the expansion of this school property because I enjoy it being in the neighborhood, and I think our children, especially in these type of schools, are extremely important. We need more charter schools and good opportunities for education. But my point being is that, like Jeremiah stated, the school had absolutely no input during the previous two meetings or from the beginning of this project. All of a sudden, it seems to be an issue with the school and not with us. The second point is that let's do a cumulative. Our children and our families live there 24/7. The school is in operation 8 times 5, maybe 40 hours a week. Okay, I realize if you multiply the man hours, there's a lot more children, so therefore there's a lot more hours. And I realize children are more susceptible to adverse effects of benzene and exhaust fumes and everything else. But this just seems to be kind of like the way the regulations were set up to begin with was a matter of hierarchy. Is that right? Think about it. I mean, who's the most important? I realized the most important thing is I've had children and grandchildren is protecting them, but this seems to be a hierarchy. And this wasn't like we talked about the last meeting. This wasn't something that was even on the chalkboard. This is something that I just don't feel is right. I mean, we had an agreement. We had a plot approval, and it just keeps changing every time we have a meeting. There's something new, a new addendum, and a new fix for this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Applicant, you're welcome to come back up.
Thank you. Just wanted to know that, again, we have to comply with all the regulations from all the agencies that issued a permit. South Coast Air Quality is responsible to issue a permit for the operation of this site. Yes, the school across the street is the sensitive use. I can't change that rule. It's their rules, and yes, the houses are also sensitive to us. As long as we meet their requirements, we're not asking for a variance from AQMD, to say, okay, the houses should have this much and the school should stay this much. We're just basically saying that we have to meet their requirements for the school and the houses, and we meet those requirements. Both are previous, the previous site plan that was approved, the school was not in existence. Therefore, that was not a sensitive use. We were using the houses as sensitive use. Now, even with the change, we are meeting those requirements. We're not asking for a variance from anybody to meet those requirements. and we've done everything possible to make sure that we are in compliance. You know, there's a lot of conditions that were added in this project. All the underlying conditions, about 30 conditions since last time, that is having a huge impact on our project. But again, my client loves the city. He wants to be part of the city, get this project done, be a part of the community, and would love to be here.
Yeah.
And we want to meet the requirements. So I appreciate your help and approval.
Thank you very much. And with that, we're going to go ahead and close public hearing. And staff discussions, if not, entertain a motion.
Yeah, Chair, I'd like to have a little bit of a discussion.
Absolutely.
So I've heard both sides, and we do appreciate the public coming to these meetings. It really does help a great deal for us to hear your opinion, so we appreciate that. On the other hand, you know, the applicant has a responsibility to meet all the conditions that have been put forth with the city, and they have met these conditions. We've got to trust the science that these analyses that have taken place, and it's like, do you really know? Well, you know, we've got to take into consideration those analyses that have been done, and it seems to me the applicant has met all of those analyses and met all the conditions and is willing to meet the new conditions that are set forth. So I don't see any reason to deny this personally if the applicant is doing everything we're asking him to do, and the analysis is there and the science is there to say that this is safe. So, I mean, that's my opinion, and I welcome other commissioners to give their opinion as well. Thank you.
Yeah, so for the public, something you didn't see in the PowerPoint is, so that wall that separates the car wash from the residence, there's actually a line of trees that is going to get put in, and they're huge trees. I do believe one of the complaints was noise, one of the complaints was light pollution. The trees that they're putting in are short string acacia, and they look like they can get up to 30, 40 feet tall. Now, I don't know if they're going to be younger trees or older trees, but I do believe that's going to help with those two things, the light pollution and the noise reduction as well.
Any other discussions? If not, may I entertain motion?
Just question for staff. There was some comments on the turn lanes. It appears from the current aerial that the northwest, southeast corners are fully improved. Well, actually, curb and gutter is in on all four, up to the BCR. Are those intersections set up the way that they have been, that as per our traffic studies, and is there any issues or concerns with ingress and egress?
Yeah, so back when we originally presented this to the Planning Commission, we laid out the existing intersection. The access that's being provided was reviewed by engineering, as well as the existing conditions of the intersection. And at that time, there was not deemed that they would need additional infrastructure other than providing their right-of-way improvements. They are going to be required to meet the street, right-of-way improvements, curb gutter, sidewalk, street lights. Access has to be ADA compliant. The driveway widths have to meet the minimum criteria for access off of Florida Avenue and Savoba as well. So circulation was evaluated for safety, as well as fire department access.
Thank you. I guess my only just general thought is a point that you made on the hierarchy is the regulatory environment. That does seem odd, but California is what it is, and the whole process is what it is. And I guess the main point for our role is it meets all of the requirements. It meets everything that's being asked of it from all the regulatory agencies, and it's an opportunity for growth and investment in the community. So I do thank you for coming and expressing your concerns and certainly understand it and agree with the kind of the inconsistency between the prioritization of what is a sensitive receptor. That's an interesting point, or not. I'm down, but I'm not saying it is important as it is. That is an important element to consider, but is outside of the purview of this commission. So, nothing else.
Question?
I do. First of all, I would like a condition of approval to be added that the mature trees not be little sticks, that we get large, mature trees. This isn't something that the residents thought they were going to get. And so, yes, the trees, and I think that's, it needs to be approved by, before, you know, those trees are mature. And they create some screen, because this is not, to me, I want to be business friendly, please understand. But if I were a resident behind this, I would be not happy, especially since the public hearing, it got switched. And then I would like to know what SoCal Air Quality thinks is agreeable for residentials. That would be something I would like to know for the future, because it's not the residents' fault that a school went in. It's great the school went in, I get it. But I don't like the hierarchy. That they pay taxes on their property and they live in that home. The school has a little different circumstance. And I wouldn't, you know, I would be upset myself.
You gonna make a motion?
Chair?
Nope.
I can double check the conditions, but we can condition, if the applicant's okay, to require a minimum of a 24-inch box tree at installation along that north landscape buffer.
Okay.
Is that the north, just the north, or the north and the east?
Yes. Yes, along the north and east perimeter, which abut the residential zone. So the landscape buffer along that,
Okay.
that edge.
Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion, Commissioner Clark.
Will they be, it's more just, I drove by there about a week ago, and the weeds are getting kind of high, so they need to be plowed, a little fire hazard. But other than that, nothing else for me to discuss. I think I kind of mixed, but I do agree with Commissioner Hill, and with that, I entertain a motion, including the adding of the CUP for the 24-inch box trees to be installed and planted.
Okay. Well, with that, I'll make a motion to adopt Planning Commission Resolution Attachment Number 1, approving conditional use permit modification CUPM 25-002, subject to the conditions of approval Exhibit 1A and development plans Exhibit 1B, and 2 24-inch box trees at north and east perimeter.
I second that.
it. Okay.
Commissioners, please announce your vote. Commissioner Worth?
Aye.
Commissioner Viramontes?
Yes.
Commissioner Hill?
Yes.
Vice Chair Clark?
Yes.
Chair Beamsterfer?
Yes.
And that motion passes 5-0.
With that, we're moving on to agenda item 16A, the reestablishment of 2 ad hoc committees for the review of the commercial vacay improvement program application. Director Monique, I know we originally had 2, Commissioner Worth and myself, but since we have a new commission reestablished, I'm still volunteering myself, but I don't know if Commissioner Worth or somebody else wants to take a shot at that.
I'm still willing to volunteer for it, but I'm open if anyone else would like to.
No, I'm good with that.
So,
Me too.
I don't mind volunteering either, but up to you guys.
But I understand what the two will be bringing it back to planning commission as a whole with what we would like to hear as a whole from the commission. So we'll be able to see each one of them as they come in. But with that, I think we're gonna go ahead and keep the original two, Commissioner Worth and myself.
Okay.
And we need a motion actually for that, so may I entertain a motion for the two ad hoc members?
I will do a motion to continue with Mr. Worth and Mr. Beamsterfer as the ad hoc committee for the commercial facade improvement program and reestablish with the guidelines and criteria of adopted grant program, and then come back to the planning commission. Wasn't that a trip?
I'll second.
I think I know what that was. Wait, what did I just sign up for?
Commissioners, please announce your vote. Commissioner Worth?
Aye.
Commissioner Veramontes?
Yes.
Commissioner Hill?
Yes.
Vice Chair Clark?
Yes.
Chair Beamsterfer?
Yes.
That motion carries 5-0.
Department reports. Item 17A, City Attorney, Leila Sawari, any reports?
Thank you. I have a fun case that I wanted to share, and it's out from the County of Ventura. And this case involves a winery which was located on land zoned for agriculture. The property had zoning clearances from the 80s that allowed for small-scale winery and tasting rooms. When the county updated its zoning laws, the winery's existing operations were allowed to continue as a legal non-conforming use, which means that it was grandfathered in but couldn't be expanded or changed without a new permit. So fast forward, a new owner purchased the property. They got permits to expand the agriculture facilities, but the county later discovered that the new buildings were being used for wine tasting events and a gift shop, which were activities not covered under the original use. So the county issued violations. The owner appealed, arguing that they had a vested right to expand the business. It went to court. The court disagreed. It said that the owner's vested rights were limited to the original legally established non-conforming use as documented back in 2008. So any expansion beyond that needed county approval. So the takeaway was that having a non-conforming use doesn't give a blanket right to expand operations. Vested rights are narrowly defined and tied to historical use. And that's my report.
Interesting.
Interesting. Thank you so much. Director Monique, Community Development reports.
I have nothing to report.
Okay, how about future agenda items?
Yes, so we were working on the future agendas, and we actually have more items coming before you soon. But we did want to let you know that there is going to be a public hearing for La Perla Market, a conditional use permit for requested ABC licensing. That's all I have at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. Agenda 9D, Planning Commissioners reports.
Okay, Commissioner Worth?
Well, first off, it's great to be back with you all, and nice to meet you, Gabe. And looking forward to this next term. I did want to bring up something that I would like just to communicate to the commission, as well as maybe an opportunity for a future agenda item. As I was off the commission for a little while, I had an opportunity for a project to both vote on it initially at the commission level and then come and speak to it at the council level. And I think that it kind of there was a few issues at play, but one of the big ones, just in a general sense, is that there's, I think, an opportunity for us to take a look at that western portion of the city, from Simpson all the way up, and just make sure that we're doing kind kind of taking into consideration some best practices and look at what other cities are doing, City of Menifee, City of Paris, and not necessarily just have a project that was denied and then continues and then just keeps coming back to the city council as a kind of a different package. But maybe we kind of step back and say, okay, what else needs to go into that area? I do know that there's a directly west of that, there's a new project, directly west, adjacent to it, that's coming in with high-density residential for 500 homes. So it's almost like a infill approach when there's no infill needed. So I think that's an area of the city that we could do a good service to the community and to the residents of, if we're going to do a GPA on that we do it in context of a better plan for mitigating the statement of overriding considerations within the environmental impact report, and make sure that there is a benefit to the community. So I just would like to bring that up as a potential opportunity for a future agenda item, a work session, a joint session, maybe something with the city council that looks at that area more holistically and doesn't just look at an individual project and just kind of reconfigure it until it kind of meets something okay. Let's look at it in a big picture. So anyways, but besides that, I'm happy to be back.
Are you talking about like city planning and a vision for?
I'm loving it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree, okay.
Thank you. Commissioner Viramontes?
I have nothing to report. I have nothing to report.
Thank you. Commissioner Hill?
I have nothing tonight, thank you.
Vice Chair Clark?
Yes, I do. I reached out to Mr. Garvey in engineering, and Noah and Jillian both received. I want to know about H&H. It's still a blight. It still is really poorly maintained, and I do feel bad for the applicant. The outstanding items status for the permit issue of each respective permit are as follows. They need to do some precise grading, provide payment for attached permit invoice, provide contractor's license and insurance, and per the CUP 21-008, prior to grading, applicant shall verify with flood control that any fees are applicable, and also provide receipt from any payments. The street improvements, they need to have an updated plan. It's the lights, it's the sidewalk, it's all of that. Provide a cost estimate for off-site improvements, provide approved security agreement, provide plans signed by a licensed professional and other required signatures. And I said to submit the lighting plans, and then they also need to pay the fees for the annex of property into the city lighting and landscape maintenance district. So he still has some obstacles he's going to have to face. I spoke at length. Mr. Garvey has a pretty nice little resume, and he is pretty knowledgeable about being the principal engineer for this. And he's finding that any projects that come through the city of Hemet, if there is not a site, a manager for the permit process itself, it tends to not go well. And that would be on the applicant's side, not on the city side. He also made it very clear that there were things that were missed prior to this, whole fiasco, which included the grading and stuff. And so I believe he mentioned that Code was working with them on reduction of fees for any fines. And it was just a little blurb. I mean, it's a couple paragraphs long, but at least I know where they sit. And he is really in the planning or the payment section of the permits. So they're hoping to get it going. And I did tell him, if you also have any other projects that kind of look like this piece, to please reach out to Monique and say, look, this has been down the pike and we need to, because we have to be business friendly. I know what the budget looks like. But we also need to make sure that we don't have that reputation about, you know, being difficult to work with. So that's my report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair Beamsterfer?
Food Truck Festival, Commissioner Viramontes was there as well. I believe there was like 12 or 13 trucks, and they'll be there again Saturday. Chick-fil-A, I believe, is Thursday, Friday, Saturday in the afternoons at the Simpson Center. And Ramona Bowl's going on. And I think that's about it. So nothing to report. If there is no further business to discuss, this meeting is adjourned to the next Planning Commission meeting scheduled for May 20th, 2025 at 6 p.m.